When it comes to Marvel's anti-heroes, Venom is in the A++ tier, and when you're popular, you tend to be wheeled out into the ring fairly often, so Venom's fought, and actually beaten, an impressive number of characters over the years. I'm Will for What Culture Comics, and here are the 10 most powerful beings Venom has defeated. 10. The Punisher, Venom Funeral Pyre. You wouldn't think it would even be worth mentioning that Venom has kicked Frank Castle's behind because, well, come on, the Punisher is a badass, but he's still a very squishy normal human, while Venom is, well, Venom. But the Punisher did manage to put up one hell of a fight during the short-lived Venom Funeral Pyre series, where the symbiote and Marvel's favorite mad gunman were both gunning for the same gang of generic goons. Annoyed that Frank was seemingly following him around, Venom took to beating the Punisher into an edgy little pulp. Now, granted, the Punisher more than gets back at him later in the same issue, hitting him with his classic weakness, Sonic Rays, and locking him up so he won't be a problem anymore. But that first fight was a resounding victory for Venom. While the Punisher is a normal, fragile human being, he is also one who likes to come prepared, just in case he does end up having to go head-to-head with a mutant, superhero, or in this case, a symbiote. So the fact that Venom caught him with his pants down and put him in the dirt is pretty impressive. 9. Riot, Venom the Movie. Over the years, Marvel fans have learned a lot about where Venom came from, and that he's far from the only or biggest fish in his sea. Naturally, this information carried over to the Venom movie, where Eddie Brock is bonded with the Venom symbiote, while antagonist Carlton Drake is bonded to the much more powerful Riot. As Venom outright states in the film, while by normal Earthling standards he's practically a god, compared to other Clintarans, let alone one as powerful as Riot, Venom is a loser, and the fact that he's attached himself to a numpty like Eddie has definitely not helped his case. However, in true superhero fashion, when push comes to shove, the two make a really good team and manage to beat the odds and take down Riot. The only reason this entry isn't higher is because even the film itself is unafraid to cop to the fact that Riot is also a small fry compared to what Eddie and Venom will be facing in the upcoming sequel. 8. Juggernaut, Venom the Madness. Here we have our first real heavy hitter that Venom managed to take down, the Juggernaut. This brawl took place during the storyline Venom the Madness, where Venom's then-girlfriend, a lawyer, took aim at a big evil corporation. Being a big evil corporation, their response is to, naturally, hire the goddamn Juggernaut to assassinate her. Because when you want to discreetly make a lawsuit go away, you get the guy who literally cannot go through any doors without knocking down the walls the door was attached to. The fight obviously doesn't go too well for Venom at first, seeing as how the Juggernaut has taken on a lot tougher things than a gooey rage monster. But when Venom falls into some generic toxic ooze and merges with it, he gets a sudden power boost and manages to put down the big bruiser for the count. 7. The Hulk, What If number 4. Like the new Disney Plus it was based on, the original What If comics existed basically to ask questions about various points in the Marvel Universe, to see how things would have played out had events been different. Spoilers, they often had less than happy endings. In the 4th issue, for instance, the question was posed, what if Peter didn't defeat the Black Suit, and the symbiote wreaked havoc across the Marvel Universe? TLDR, nothing good. Venom becomes absolutely unstoppable without Peter to hold it back, and only gets stronger as the story goes on, starting when it killed the strongest Avenger in the most efficient manner possible. See, Venom did away with Spidey by draining away his life force, killing him immediately. Venom then did the same thing to the Hulk by bonding with him and draining away all the gamma energy from the monster, taking away all of Bruce's powers and transferring them to Venom. Fortunately, Venom's famous weakness still remained, so one merry greeting from Black Bolt finally managed to put the thing down, which is good because Venom was about to do the same thing to Thor. 6. Wolverine, Ultimate Spider-Man Game, 2005. Now, in the comics, when Venom attacked Wolverine in a bar, it did not work out well. But in the underrated 2005 Ultimate Spider-Man video game, things turned out a little different. At this point in the game, you're controlling Venom going on a rampage for reasons unimportant, because Venom never needs a reason to go on a rampage. Nor does Wolverine ever need a reason to square up with someone coming to square up. Seeing as how you're controlling Venom, it is no surprise that you end up coming out on top here. Sure, Wolverine puts up a hell of a fight, and the stiff combat and uncooperative camera certainly make it a struggle, but Venom finishes it off with a nice punch to the back of Wolverine's head, sending him to the floor. 5. Spider-Man, ASM 375. As any shonen anime fan will tell you, The best way to show that your new bad guy is the toughest around is to have him toss the biggest, baddest guy in the room like a salad, and seeing how his name is on the front of the comic, it makes sense that that sacrificial lamb would be Spider-Man. The first time we see these two go head-to-head is in Amazing Spider-Man 375, and it's one of the all-time great one-sided fights in comics. When Venom goads Spidey into a fight by kidnapping his resurrected parents, there is just nothing the wall crawler can do to put up a fight against the symbiote, who takes him apart in a brutal manner readers had never seen up to that point. Sure, Spidey had lost plenty of times before, but rarely so thoroughly, so brutally, culminating in Venom grabbing Spider-Man by the head and pounding it into the concrete base of a roller coaster until the entire thing collapsed on top of them. A horrifying showcase of Spider-Man's new arch-nemesis. No wonder this dude stuck around after an intro like that. 4. Ms. Marvel, Siege. Now, you're probably wondering how exactly Venom managed to get off a win against Carol Goddamn Danvers. I mean, yeah, Venom is tough, but even when she was just Ms. Marvel, Carol was anything but a pushover. Well, the answer is that it didn't. But also, it did. Let's explain. During the event comic Siege, Ms. Marvel and Spider-Man are intercepted by Venom, currently inhabiting the body of Mac Gargan, the former Scorpion. Ms. Marvel, not having time for Gargan's shenanigans, shoves her hand into Venom's chest and rips Gargan out of him. Why does she do this? Because she's awesome. She certainly impressed the symbiote with that display, seeing as the symbiote then proceeds to pounce on her, taking over her body and becoming She-Venom. Not the most creative name in the world, but hey, Venom can fly and shoot space lasers now, so I doubt they care. 3. Carnage. Absolute Carnage 2019. Being the first two symbiotes introduced into the Marvel Universe, Venom and Carnage have gone head-to-head multiple times throughout the comics, and for the first time on the big screen, with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Venom has rarely come out on top in these fights, because Carnage is quite the tenacious little bastard, but his latest victory came to us in the 2019 storyline, Absolute Carnage. This storyline tied into the larger storyline of King in Black, where the Dark God Null had gifted Carnage with unimaginable power. As if Cassidy wasn't bad enough already, the mad symbiote was now damn near unstoppable. However, Carnage made one fatal error. He messed with Eddie Brock's son. Even knowing the repercussions of killing Carnage, given the choice between saving his son or letting Carnage live, it should surprise no one that Eddie chose to impale the sick bastard through the chest, killing him instantly. 2. Superman. DC/Marvel All Access. DC and Marvel, though they would probably find the idea repulsive these days, have crossed over multiple times throughout both companies' histories. One of their lesser-known crossover events is DC Marvel All Access. It is in this story that Superman, the Man of Steel, the mightiest superhero of them all, suffered probably one of his most humiliating losses at the hands of everyone's favorite symbiote. The questions begin when Venom, a guy who can't even get rid of one teenager in a red and blue onesie, no-sells a right hook from Superman, and then responds by knocking Superman on his ass and damn near choking him to death with his symbiote goop. The fact that this fight is so short, and not for the reason that Superman punched Venom into space, is head-scratching all on its own. But why the writers didn't take this opportunity to show us what a Superman controlled by Venom would look like goes to show why this crossover is not very fondly remembered. But hey, you defeated Superman, Venom. Good for you. Number 1. Null. King in Black. Doesn't get much more impressive than taking out a literal god. King in Black, for all its controversy with the fandom, had one hell of a closer. Null, the cosmic embodiment of nothingness and the creator of all symbiotes, comes to return to the universe to the point before the Big Bang, and was felled by none other than Eddie Brock and his old buddy Venom. Granted, Eddie had some help, combining the Silver Surfer's board and Mjolnir into a single, cosmic, god-killing axe. At the end of a truly glorious final battle, Venom brings the axe down on Null, putting an end to the King in Black's reign once and for all. Only for Venom to then have to take his place in order to control Null's eldritch monster horde and keep it from wreaking further havoc across the universe. There must always be a King in Black, and for the time being, that's Venom. Who knows what lies ahead for it after this turning point? There might even be a new number 1 for this list now that Venom is playing on a whole new power level. And there you have it, folks, the 10 most powerful beings Venom has defeated. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at YouSlyDogU. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.